We are now just 99 days away from the presidential election and just over a week since President Biden decided to drop out of the race for the White House. Just a week. Vice President Kamala Harris is getting a boost with her approval rating jumping by 8 points. Her favorability rating is now at 43%. That's according to a new ABC News Ipsos poll, with less than half of voters approving of her. But that is up from last Sunday when 35% of voters viewed her favorably. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump's favorability has dipped, with 36% of voters now viewing him as favorable. A new Fox News poll of voters in 4 battleground states also shows a close race between Harris and Trump. They are tied in Michigan and Pennsylvania, while Trump leads by 1 point in Wisconsin and Harris is up by 6 points in Minnesota. Joining me now, Democratic consultant and former House Judiciary Committee Chief Counsel Julian Epstein, and Republican strategist and Madison firm lead attorney Jonathan Madison. So, Julian, I'm going to start with you here. What is your reaction to these brand new polls? It has only been 1 week and 1 day since Joe Biden dropped out of the race.
Well, Fox News does an excellent poll, but you really have to do an average of the polls. If you do an average of the polls, Donald Trump is still ahead by about 1 to 2 points in the national election, and he's still ahead in most battleground states. That's according to about 5 of the 7 most recent polls. So what we've seen is that the race has returned to the pre-debate norm, where it has been stuck all year. The one change that you are seeing, you have to really look at the crosstabs in the polls as well. And crosstabs is a fancy way for your viewers of saying you look at the demographic breakdown of what's in the polls. The significant change that we're seeing is that Kamala Harris seems to be attracting more young voters that were leaving the Democratic Party and more black voters that were also leaving the Democratic Party under Biden. That's good for her. On the other hand, older voters and working class voters seem to be moving towards Trump. That's bad news for her. The reason that's bad news for her is because most voters in the Midwest states, the Rust Belt swings, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, are older and working class. So essentially what's happened, I think, is you've returned to the pre-debate norm, but you've traded a California voter for a Pennsylvania voter, which is not so good for Harris.
Right. And certainly, Jonathan, weigh into this because, at the end of the day, and this is why there's so much attention being placed on Harris's VP pick, is because, she needs either Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin. It's about those swing state voters. Jonathan, what do you make of these new numbers?
Yeah, I think whether or not you average them or take them at face value, I'm not surprised. I mean, the Democrats are running from a sugar high at this point. But you got to remember, Kamala Harris's biggest problem is that there's still 99 days left in the election. I think that she's been successfully attempting to dupe the American people over the last maybe week and a half into believing she's done something meaningful as a vice president in the White House. And I think soon enough, probably following Labor Day after the DNC convention and whatnot. And by the way, if you're a Democrat, you should be happy because now you have a candidate who's competent enough to know the difference between beating Medicare and helping it. But, I think after Labor Day, you're going to see the issues drive this election, Cheryl.
Yeah,
and you're going to see the number one issue come out on display, which is immigration reform, which is border security.
Exactly, the policy. And I think that's where, we're not, it's maybe still in the honeymoon phase for Harris, but it is going to come down to her record, whether when she was, in San Francisco or as a senator or vice president. Maria spoke with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures. He is now slamming the mainstream media's reaction to Harris becoming the party's presumptive nominee. Here's what he told Maria. Watch.
Now what you see is all the arteries of the left, the corporate media, Hollywood, academia, they're using all the king's horses and all the king's men to try to put the Democratic Party back together again. And they have to whitewash Harris's background to be able to make her palpable to the American people. But I think we've all seen her. She owns the border. She owns the inflation. She was there cheerleading that every day for the last 3.5 years. But make no mistake about it. You are in for 100 days of massive gaslighting from the corporate press. We're down here in Florida. It's hot in July, be hot in August, but you're going to see a blizzard of lies over the next few months.
Jonathan, what do you make of those comments?
I agree. And I think it's only going to ratchet up from here. I mean, the Democrats are going to paint her resume as if she's done meaningful work over the past 3 years, whether it be border. And by the way, we know that she attended about 2 summit meetings, to help out with the Northern Triangle, and then just quit, according to a Mexican government official. So, I think that, to his point, you're going to see this story created and envisioned by the Democratic Party to sell to the American people as if she's done something phenomenal or somewhat meaningful over the last 3 years. Again, the problem being that she has 99 days to sell that story. The American people aren't going to fall for it.
Well, Julian, I want to get lean into your experience and talk about the financing here, because the vice president, the campaign now saying they've raised a record-breaking $200 million since President Biden's endorsement last Sunday. They say that 66% of that fundraising is coming from first-time donors, Julian. How powerful is that for the Harris campaign?
Well, I think it's good. I think a lot of people were holding back because they didn't believe Biden could win the race. So I think that's one good indication. To your question to Jonathan about the mainstream media, I agree. I'm a Democrat. I agree that there has been a double standard in terms of how the legacy or the mainstream media examines a Republican candidate versus examining a Democratic candidate. And I think there's a legitimate complaint there. I mean, look, Kamala Harris has upsides and downsides. On the upside, she brings a joyfulness. She brings a youth, and she brings an ability to be scripted. These are qualities that Donald Trump doesn't have. On the other hand, she has been reported by her own staff to be chronically disorganized and unprepared. She is a Bernie Sanders Democrat. She really is left on a whole host of positions. And she has had a White House track record as vice president that has not been impressive, as you pointed out, on immigration. So there's a lot of play left to be had here. She has strengths and weaknesses that Biden had, that Biden didn't have on each side. So there's a lot of play here.
All right, Jonathan, real quick, last word.
Yeah, I think if her VP pick will be very important, obviously. And if she doesn't go with Senator Mark Kelly, I mean, good luck as far as a border security issue coming up.
Yeah, no, it's being reported widely that Democrats are pushing him, some in the House, are pushing her, to pick Mark Kelly, because that would help her with her border problem, because even Jake Tapper on CNN is saying that that's a problem for her and for the campaign. Julian Epstein, Jonathan Madison, thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate you both being here.
Thank you, Cheryl.
All right.